galactic heroes. Hey, we got a little bit of rainfall ambiance. Maybe we should have today's battle take place in the rain. Except it's going to be complicated enough. This time around, let's just go ahead and do a straight up stand up fight. We haven't done one of those in a long time. It's been all rescue missions and sneaking peeks. I don't know who's coming on where, but let's just run through this real quick. This is the only leader on the board. Turns out Captain Bisco is a little bit OP, so we're going to run 4 versus 4. Maybe if we had Poultry Joe, but we don't. So what are you going to do? Our pirates are easy. We've got a couple of guys that are shooters and a couple of guys that are stabbers. They do have power swords. So the guys with the blast rifles have a range of 12 and 24 inches. They are armored, which means they have a +1 on the wound rolls and a -1 on the shoot rolls, but they are Deadeye, so that negates the -1 on the shoot roll. Basically, the only special ability they have is when they roll on that wound chart, they're at +1, they're harder to kill. Likewise with the melee pirates. Now, the melee guys do have blast pistols with a range of 6 and 12 inches. They are at -1 to shoot, but they don't have the Deadeye, which means they are at -1 every time they shoot. They also have the +1. Now, and I should point out, they're all going to be at -1 to be hit in melee. Wait, was that it? No, it's -1 inch move because they're all armored. Just make sure I remember that. Write it down real quick. So these guys are all heavily armored. And then we look at our heroes, and as usual, we've got our Captain Cobalt 15. He is the leader, so everybody within 1 inch of him gets a +1 to recovery rolls if they're within line of sight and 12 inches. We've got a melee boy here in Lieutenant Dane. He's a brawler. He's solid. He's a street fighter. Never outnumbered. He also has an auto pistol, 6 inches, 12 inches range. So when you roll, he's rolling D10s. This guy's rolling D12s on everything. This guy's rolling D10s. These guys are all rolling D10s. Lieutenant Dane here, he does have a knife. So basically, as long as he doesn't fumble on that attack roll, he'll be able to attack. The Magic Space Baby does have psychic powers. Maybe we'll get to see those. He's got deflection when he's shot at. He can drop a 3-inch shield around himself. Everybody shooting into it is in hard cover. It's -2 to be hit. And then he's got a push, so he can shove guys back 6 inches. If he shoves them off the table, we'll give him an automatic shock at the table edge. And then there's a complicated one for telekinesis. I don't think we're going to get to that. The last one is Monk E. Now, this is our new addition to the team. That is a robot, so he's never shaken. But he doesn't dodge very well. He's +1 when he's shot at. He is a sprinter, so every turn he gets an additional 3 inches movement right off the bat. And he's a leaper, so when he jumps, you roll a d6 to figure out how far he jumps. I got to look that up. But he can jump 3 inches high as well. Might not be a big issue on this particular battlefield. You can see some of the hab domes back there are 3 inches high. He is not going to be able to jump up on top of our high point there. To do that, you'll have to get up there. You're going to have to be in contact with the base, and you're going to have to spend 2 actions to climb to the top. You'll have to pass 1 task roll, but it will take the entire turn to get up there. And I think with all that, we're ready to kind of zoom out, look at the general terrain, and roll some dice to figure out who's coming on where. When a figure jumps, he can jump up to 1 inch high, up to 3 inches long. That 3 inches is counted against his movement. Our leaper buddy here, you do roll a d10, and on a result of a 1, you fail. You just fall over. Basically, you fall over. It's no shock, no wound, but you're going to have to spend your next action standing up. That's the risk. Now, because he is a leaper, he is able to jump 3 inches, and he's able to jump up to 3 inches tall, as I said. So I think, we'll just check, these guys are 1.5 inches tall and about 2.5 inches across. Our leaper boy can kind of scramble over these. Nobody else can. Everybody else is limited to the 1 inch. Likewise, this hedge right here is a little less than 1 inch tall. It does take a task action to pass over it. It costs 1 inch to cross over it. Otherwise, it does block the line of sight. I think we're ready to get going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's going to determine where our heroes come in within 6 inches of that point. 1. So they're coming in up here. And our pirates are going to come in down here. Our heroes are up here. Our pirates are down here. And we've paired them up, 1 shooty and 1 stabby boy. For our heroes, Monk E, the last thing I should point out, he does not have any weapons except for the damaging aura trait. When he hits that, I call it an arc thrower. It's basically an electric shock charge. Anybody within 1.5 inches is hit as if by burst fire. That means he's out of ammo until he can spend 2 actions in the same turn to reload. That's his only weapon. Other than that, he fights in hand-to-hand combat as though he was unarmed. So, with all that done, we're ready to deal 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, for our heroes. And they're going to get 9, 3, and a pair of kings, and then 4 for our villains, our pirates, and they're going to get a 9, 4, 3, and a jack. I'll put those up here so we can keep an eye on them. And that being the case, we've got our pair of kings are going to move first. And with everybody a pretty good distance, we have an opportunity to move up. I should point out the grass is greater than head high. It blocks line of sight. If you're standing on the edge, you're in soft cover. Otherwise, it blocks line of sight. And it costs double movement to move through those. Dane is not going to creep. He's going to move his full 10 inches. And why am I doing that when I could be using my Wily Games tape measure to just move up a full 10 inches into the park here? That's him. And then we'll bring, since he's a brawler, he's going to protect, and we're going to bring up Monk E right behind. And Monk E will probably split off on his own. As we zoom in on these guys, we'll zoom in the camera as the action develops. Can't remember if I already said that or not. Then we're on to the Jack of Spades is next. So we can move up a third guy. Let's bring... Now, because he is a robot and he's armored, he's only able to move 8 inches, we're going to bring our big boy into cover right there. And then it's going to be hearts, diamonds. So all of our pirates are going to move, and then the Magic Space Baby is going to move up on his own. Our 2 pirates have moved up to here. Of course, our shooty boy is probably going to try to climb up here to get the height advantage. We've got a shooty guy down here and a stabby guy sweeping around this way. I did move 3 actions with a Magic Space Baby. When you activate on a red card for these magic guys, they get 1 extra action. Well, the good magic guys get an extra action on a red card. The bad guys, the dark fellas, get an extra action if they're activated on a black card. He only moved 9 inches, though, because he's creeping. That's what the little target is there for him. It's just to remind me that he can only be shot at by somebody within 12 inches, and he is at an extra -1 to be shot at. Remember, he's almost at -1 because he's a tiny little guy, but he's only got 2 wounds. We need to deal out some cards for activation. And, I should also point out, I moved the Monk E up. He gets a bonus of 3 inches every turn. So in addition to the 10 inches, he gets to move the extra 3. And here are the cards for our heroes, and for our pirates, it's going to be 4, Ace, King, 5. So we're going to get to move 2 of the pirates first. The Ace and the King are... do we want to use the Ace to go first? Yeah, we're going to move both of these guys to get started. And the first guy is going to roll. Remember, we use D20s for D10s. We just ignore the 10s place. The 20 becomes a 10, the 10 becomes a 10. 19 becomes a 9, right? So this guy's going to try to climb up. That's going to be it for his turn. And he gets a 3, which is successful. Anything but a 1, and he falls down. So he does move up to there. At least I think that's right. Let me double check that rule real quick. Hey, rules as written, we trust Mr. Wiley. He says if you're near the doorway, it's 3 inches to go up. So we'll call it 3, 6, 9 plus the inch to get in. He's going to be stuck right there. We'll put him, I don't know, I guess he comes out right there. That's going to be it for his turn. And the other thing I should point out, I don't usually use this rule. I don't usually have this much elevation. Let's check the handy cheat sheet, shall we? When you are shooting, if you are, where is it? Shooting, when the shooter is there a +1 for being at elevation? Some games have that, but I don't see one here. So we're not going to give it to him. But he does have a clear line of sight to everybody. None of this, well, the smaller items no longer block line of sight. The cars don't. We'll kind of play it by ear. We'll use real line of sight for that. But that's those 2 actions, which is fine by the crew of the Black Raven, because it means that by spending this Ace, we'll drop the 3 down. They're going to get to move 3 of their guys. And at this point, what we want to do is... who do we want to start with? Well, this guy is going to jump over the hedge and move 8 inches to here. Because if these guys are within 3 inches of each other, which they are, we've got to roll a task roll to see if he falls. He gets a 9. on the orange die. There you go. So he is able to move the 8 inches. Just double check. So that gives him 6 inches to here, or 5 inches to here, and then another 2 inches to right there, which puts him within 1.5 inches of both of these guys. So he goes, kapow! I will drop a reload marker on him. Both of these pirates are hit by burst fire. So we're going to roll wound rolls for each of them. The orange one is here, and the blue one is here. Sorry about the bump. So the orange one gets a 7. That becomes a 6 because they are both armored, remember. The 7 becomes a 6. That is wounded. So the shooter goes down, and he's bleeding. This guy rolled a 4, which is modified to a 3, and he is now shaken. That's it for Monk E. Then we have, this is the ace, 10, and 9. Where am I? Oh, there's my 3. Okay, so that's, we'll call that the 10, and then we have another 10. We're going to move, we want to get Cobalt into the action. He can only move 8 inches. We're going to bring him up to here. And then we have one more movement. We need to get him into cover. He can't see this guy just yet. Let me check it real quick. Can he? He can, but he's out of cover. So, and he doesn't, I don't even think he has range for that. So instead, we're going to move him to take cover behind this building. He can move 10 inches, and he's going to come get tucked in right about back there. So he will be classed as heavy cover when this guy shoots at him. That's the second one. And then once we did Monkey, we did Cobalt. Magic Space Baby is still out there. And now it's going to be those last 2 guys. So we'll send, this pirate is more than happy to accommodate Dane. And he's going to come around to here, fixing to get stuck in. He moved. Then the last pirate is going to be this guy. Oh! We moved 1, 2. Am I missing a card here? Okay, I got it. The value of doing this on film, I could always go back and check the tape. I said I was going to move that guy, and I didn't. So those 2 had already moved. Now these are the 2 that have yet to go. The first thing we need to do is check recovery for this guy. When you are laying there bleeding, the first thing you have to do is check and make a recovery roll. Now remember, they do not have a friendly leader on board. So he makes a roll of an 8, and with a result of an 8 on recovery, when you are, we're doing this guy first, when you are wounded and you roll an 8, the model may stand. And I think that's it for him. I think he just stands up. Now this stabby boy has a bit of a dilemma. He can attack Monk E right now, but it'll be at -1. Alternatively, he can opt to spend both of his actions to remove this shock marker and live to fight another day. We're going to do that for him. Not because he's a coward, but because he knows Monkey is not interested in fighting a guy with a power sword. Monkey is going to have to run away this turn, and he knows it. So with all of that said and done, that turn is said and done. We'll do a quick riffle. We'll do a quick cut. Maybe a little bit of this action just to make sure we're not cheating too much. Get some new cards into the mix, and we will draw 4 cards for our heroes. A deuce, a 9, a queen, and a 4. And then we've got a 3, 2, ace, and a 7. So that reroll is going to come in very handy for somebody. In fact, we are going to start by moving our sniper guy to here and taking a shot at... Oh, you know, we didn't move Magic Space Baby last turn. Magic Space Baby's still got to get involved. So let me move him up. He's going to move, and I don't remember what card it was, so we're just going to move him 6 inches to here. So he's staying close to his good buddy Cobalt. He's right behind. Oh, that marker is going to make it a lot easier to keep track of his location, isn't it? The next thing we got to do is figure out... So the ace is going to go first. And actually, we're going to call that ace the Queen of Hearts to activate this guy. But that means this Queen of Hearts gets to go first. But that means Monk E gets to charge and do a melee combat against the wounded guy. Monk E is going to roll the blue die for this melee attack. We get a 6 versus a 5. In the event of a tie, they remain locked in close combat, which means our pirate now is going to get to play his Ace of Hearts to remove his wound, and he still gets 2 actions, so he's going to fight again. This time, our missile guy is going to be fighting at a total of +2 to the roll. And he gets a 10 versus a 3. That is a difference of 7 here. So for the wound roll, for a difference of 7, we're going to add, I think, 3 to this. I think that's a 9. Monkey might be out of the fight altogether. Difference of 7 is going to be a +3. Is that right? Monk E is soulless. He is +1. He's never shaken. Is there anything else he's got? Nope. He's out of the fight. Just like that. He took the high risk, low reward apparently, and it did not pay off. He's done. Then the 9 of hearts is going to go. And for that, we're going to... we're going to bring the captain up to this tree. He's going to hide right behind it. He's going to take a shot at this guy. Checking range, that is at just over 6 inches. Which gives him a target of 8. And I think that's it. Oh, can he even make it that far? He only moves 4 inches. Yeah, where was he? Right there? Yeah, he can make it that far. So he needs an 8, 9, or a 10. He gets a 7. And that's not going to do it. Then we have a counter shot here. He could. Oh, you know what? It's even worse because the guy's behind cover. So again, they're at beyond 6 inches, but hey, he gets a reroll on that. So this pirate is going to shoot back at Cobalt, and he gets a reroll. Now he needs to roll a 9 or a 10. He rolls a 7, and he rolls a 2. So nothing doing there. Then it's going to be the 4 of diamonds gets to go, and that would have been Monk E. Instead, we're going to let that go, and we're going to go with these 2 cards go next, the 3 and the 2 of spades. So for the 3, who am I missing? He has not taken his shot yet. We're going to take the shot first. That is going to be heavy cover, but it is close range. 12 inches is close range for that guy. It's going to be at a -2, so normally it would be 5. Becomes a 7 up to hit. And on a 7, he gets the hit, and Dane rolls a 1 on the wound roll for shaken, which is not going to go good for him because the next guy to go will be this guy who's going to charge into hand-to-hand combat, and they both are going to get to roll 2 dice and pick 1. So I'm going to need an extra D10. How about that? We'll do the 2 blue for Dane and the red and the orange for... Well, I guess we roll 1. And we get an 8 and a 9 with a blue for Dane. Do either of you want to re-roll? Let's find out. Dane, of course, is going to be... he gets a re-roll anyway. And I think that's it. This is a tie. Because the power sword makes him plus... Oh, no. Okay. So actually the pirate wins by 1. Because the armor makes him -1 to be hit in combat. So Dane goes down to an 8. And then the pirate is at +1 because of the power sword. He goes up to a 9. So with a difference of 1, it's just going to be a straight roll. And on a 2, oh, actually it's an extra -1. So it's a difference of 2. So Dane picks up a second shock marker. He's going to be fighting at -2 now. The good news is he is never pushed back. He is solid as a rock when he's standing there. And that's going to be the end of the turn. Let's shuffle some cards. I really hope the soothing sounds of the rain are adding to the battle ambiance. Hopefully they're not too bad. Our heroes are going to get a queen, an ace, and a 9. They only get 3 cards. And our pirates are going to get a reroll, a 4, 3, and a 10. The queen gets to go first, and this is the Queen of Hearts, which heals 1 wound. Nobody has a wound. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to activate on the Queen of whatever it is. I can't remember. There's a queen that removes all shock markers. That's going to be for Dane over here. If I look that up, I can tell you what it is real quick. It doesn't come out very often. But these cards, this little special abilities really add that wrinkle to this game that make it something special, because they just add one little extra dimension that forces you to be very careful about how you move your guys. The Queen of Spades. Remove all shock marker. You still got 2 actions. We're rolling again, and this time, unfortunately for Dane, he's still at an effective -2 with a blue die. We get a 10 and a 5, but Dane does get a reroll for a 7, which is better. There's not a lot you can do about the 20 there. Dane, you got anything else? He does get the reroll. He's never pushed back. He's not outnumbered, but he is still at -2. So the differential of 5 means a wound check at +2. He picks up another shock. Using the queen, I think, was probably still the best bet. Then we do have the Queen of Hearts to go for our heroes. And this time around, we're going to go ahead and get... do we want to get stuck in with this guy? No, we're just going to trade shots again. Take the shot. Why don't we... Maybe we could move... No, he's going to take an aim shot, because that way this is just an 8, 9, 10 to hit. And a 7 is going to be a miss. Then we'll use the 10. Well, we've got 4 guys that can go. Who do we want to have the reroll? I think we want the guy up top to have the reroll. So we'll use the 10 is going to be for this guy, and he's feeling good. He's going to charge. We're going to do a melee down here. And that melee means that this guy is going to be a +1 to his roll. And Cobalt is going to be at -1 to move. Cobalt is also at -1 to hit to be hit in melee. So it's a total of +1 to the red die. And with a 4 and a 4, Cobalt is going to have to take a wound roll. It's an even roll, and a 2 means he gets the shock. And then we have the 9 of Hearts. So Magic Space Baby is going to sprint out to here and try to draw some fire. He's no longer hidden, and he now is the only target of opportunity for anyone, which means we'll take the Space Pirate is going to take his reroll on shooting the Magic Space Baby. We will check the range. He's got a range of 12 inches. So he pivots, and he can take a shot at +1 on the roll. He only needs a 4 to hit. But what he doesn't know, so he gets a 6, is that Magic Space Baby has Deflect. If fired and missed, which he was not, oh dear, Magic Space Baby takes a wound roll. He needed to be missed on that one. And the wound roll of 8. Remember that the Magic Space Baby is at -1 on wound rolls. That becomes a 9. And it's not looking good for our pirates anymore. 9 is out of action. We might as well zoom in on this one. Now that shock marker is on Lieutenant Dane. He's going to be at a total of -2 because this guy is armored. This guy is at +1. To make it simple, we're just going to call this guy, the red die, is at +3. Dane's got to beat him by 3. Dane gets a 2. The bad guy gets a 3. But Dane does get a reroll. And with an 8, he does. He wins by a total of 2. Meaning our sword guy has to make a wound roll. And with a result of a 9, he goes out of action. How about that? So the crew of the Black Raven has done a little something anyway. He is still shocked, though. That was the pirate's turn.
Let's take a look at the last action for the Pirates.
Or the last two, I should say. This guy is going to go ahead and charge Cobalt. And I forgot something on Cobalt shooting. Cobalt is not a D10 guy. Cobalt is a D12 guy. So our melee specialist is going to be rolling a red D10. And will be at a grand total of +3. +1 for the sword, +1 for the shock, +1 for the armor that he is wearing. Cobalt's got to win by 3. Cobalt gets a 12. The bad guy gets an 8 for a difference of 4. And that is going to lead to a +2 on this wound die. And with a result of a 4, this guy is pushed back an inch and is shocked to learn that he's not such hot stuff after all. That's going to open the door for the last action for the Pirates. This guy is going to curve around 6 inches to, let's see, we'll call it 2 to there. He's basically going to have to run over to here, and he's going to take cover, hoping that he can get a shot on Cobalt from the, well, if he can move a total of, if he's got 10 inches of movement, where's the better place to stand? Can he get around to someplace in cover to take a shot? I think that's really the best he can do. Just make sure he's facing the right way. So he's kind of hugging the corner of that, and that is the end of the turn. So we're going to have some tough choices for the Pirates now, but the Pirates do still have the numerical advantage, 3-2. And for actions, we'll draw 2. It's going to be a 4 and a jack, +1 to shoot rolls. Oh, that's good. And then for our Pirates, it'll be a pair of queens and a king. Oh boy, so everybody's going to get to go on the Pirate side before anybody goes on the hero side. We have a remove. The king will be used to take the shot down here. This guy is firing into cover at short range. He needs, so it's 5 inches for the distance, and then because he's taking an aim shot, the difficulty becomes a 4, and then it goes back up to 5-6. So he needs a 6 up to hit. He gets the 6, and he gets a wound roll of 5, which delivers another shock to poor old Dane back there. Then we're gonna, now Dane is just going to use his action to, we'll think about that. Let's zoom in on this section so we can see exactly what's going on down here. The Queen of Spades has to go first, which means, and this is where the fun of these cards comes in, we'd like to remove this shock marker. We'd like to, well, you know, it doesn't matter which order we do it, does it? Let's go ahead and use this. Well, this has to go first. That's the problem. The spade goes first, which removes this, which means he gets stuck in, or does he? In fact, he may decide he wants to shoot, and then this guy is going to shoot as well. And although he's not a great shot, he does get a +1, because he does have that wild pistol. The melee pirate has a blast pistol, which is, it's got a 6-inch range. It's -1 to shoot, but he's aiming now. So he's going to be at a straight 5 up to hit. That's this guy. And with a 10, he hits. Cobalt now rolls a 5, which earns him a 2nd shock. Then we can use the Queen of Clubs to fire with this guy, who is going to be now Cobalt is behind cover here. He's aiming, though. It's soft cover, so that's a wash. He's got a total wash. It's just a straight 5 up to hit. And with a 10, he gets the hit, and Cobalt makes his wound roll of 1, and he earns a 3rd shock. That was a thoroughly unimpressive turn for these guys, because remember, well, no, that is going to be a problem, because now Cobalt, well, Cobalt's going to go second, but it doesn't matter. Let's resolve this first, and then we'll go look at the shot up there. Right, you know, that first shock would have caused him to retreat to here to where he's in cover. The 2nd shock causes him to move back an additional 5 inches, so he's stuck back here in cover, making his recovery check at -3, and 4 minus 3 is a 1, and when you are shaken, you rout, so he has had quite enough of this. Thank you very much. Then we have one more action to go, and that is up here, where Dane is hiding from the sniper. Dane is over there, and I think we got to just run Dane off the table. He does have the +1 to the shoot rolls. This actually happens first. I guess we could take a shot at this guy. But it's going to be, even at a +1 to the shoot roll, Dane is going to need an 8 and then a 7, and then he's at -2. He's going to need a 9 or a 10 to hit that guy. Why don't we go ahead and try it? 9 or a 10. He gets the 10. He gets the shot. This guy rolls on his wound, and 9 minus 1 is 8. He is wounded. Oh. Well, this just got a little interesting. Because when you're wounded that close to the ledge, there's a chance that you fall. Is there a figure forced off the edge of a cliff? Ah, here it is. Roll a d10. Reading is fundamental. If a miniature is within 1 inch of a rooftop, roll a d10. An even result means he falls wounded. On an odd result, he falls off and rolls again on the wound chart. So on an odd result, a 1 is an odd result with a +1 to the roll per 3 inches fallen. This is a total of about 5 inches high, so it's just going to be a +1 on the wound chart. He's already got 1 wound, and then we roll again, and we get a 1, a 2, so he gets a wound and a shock. And even worse, he is off the top of the building. So we do have another turn to play, and Dane is outnumbered 3-1, but Dane can be kind of a beast sometimes. I'm impressed that he was able to pull off that shot. It buys him some time, doesn't it? All right, so we'll cut the cards, keeping it honest. Dane is going to get to activate on a 6, so he gets a reroll. And then we've got a wild 2 ace. And there we go. That being the case, we got a pair of aces here. We're going to use this ace to activate this guy on the Queen of Hearts. He is no longer wounded. And then we'll use this ace as a... Oh, what do we want to use that ace as? We could use it as a... Well, we don't need reload. Do we use it as a +1 to shoot rolls? I don't give anybody that does. Everybody that's shocked, let's go ahead and just use it to move this guy 10 inches. So there's 6 inches to there, and another 4 inches up to here. And then we're going to... Oh, that's a reload marker. All that Dane can do at this point is we can remove a shock marker from him. And then this guy's going to try to get into firing position. And that's going to be 2 inches to there. And then we'll bring him another 4 inches up to here. And that's the end of the turn. The noose is tightening on our poor beleaguered hero. I've noticed in this campaign, Dane is usually kind of doing this kind of rough stuff. And, if I was playing against another opponent, I would probably concede at this point. But we got time. Dane gets a 9. They get a 5. Jack. And a 3, +1 to melee combat. The Jack gets to go first. Do we have anybody within melee range? Nobody that we want to get there. That being the case, we're going to use this to recover the shock. So we now have 3 unharmed. And yeah, you know what? At this point, I think the smart move here is just go ahead and get off the board, Dane. We already have to roll 3 times on our recovery chart to see what happens to the rest of the crew. Let's just call it a day. Oh, man, Bones is really going off out there. He's pretty chirpy. That's what the whistling is. We do not have the monsters playing in the background. We need to roll recovery rolls for Magic Space Baby and Monk E. As these 2 guys fled the table, it's fine. Now, these guys lost the scenario, and they were out of action, so this is going to be on a -2. Meaning on a 1 through 3, it's just winged me. On an 8, 9, 10, they're out of action. The Magic Space Baby rolls a 1. He's fine. And Monk E rolls a 6, 7, 8. Call the medic. What does call the medic mean? Call the medic is the crew must miss the next game, and when they return the following game, they start at -1. They're already wounded, but the Queen of Hearts can heal that. So that is it for today. We've got the monkey is down. He's missing a game, and he's coming back wounded. Kind of a nagging injury, if you will, and I think they were kind of lucky to get away with that. Just did not get the dice rolls they needed today. Took a couple of big risks with both the Magic Space Baby and Monkey. Didn't pay off. Need to play a little bit more conservatively, particularly when it comes to bringing these kind of vulnerable guys into vulnerable positions. Little mutual support here, guys. You got to work together. Got to learn teamwork, because Galactic Heroes is a punishing game if you're not taking it seriously. which we do, and we'll keep taking it seriously. I'm praying for you.